On most days, this is a high effort channel. I do a lot of research. I do a lot of thoughts. I don't do any editing, but I put my heart into it and it's a real work of labor. This is not one of those days. It's Saturday morning. This is a Saturday morning goof up. I want to talk about this Not Like Us parody that was put out by the Lincoln Project called "Trump's Not Like Us," and analyze it for what does it say about the song, and try to answer this question because I didn't know if I was going to review this at all. I really didn't know. I was like, I can't tell if it is kind of awesome or a complete abomination. Is this just another example of a some kind of group of powerful white people stealing black art and appropriating it for their own purposes? Or is this a clever and earned reappropriation of the song itself, that it was created to be so ambiguous with the pronouns they and us as to who is they and who is us? All right. So I was picturing, given the fact that it's about Trump, it's about Drake, it's about Epstein, and it's done completely with AI. I thought, oh my God, there's going to be 1,000 YouTube videos all about this. But I wake up, it's been around for a couple days, and there have been none. So let me take you through it. Let's discuss this thing. Okay, I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to do a little share screen feature here. I'm not going to share the audio because I'm not sure if I do where the money from the ads goes, and I'm not certain I want to actually support the Lincoln Project. I can't tell. I can't tell. If you don't know who they are, they're an interesting group. It's a Republican super PAC, or not a super PAC, just a Republican PAC, a Republican Political Action Committee, which essentially means they get people to give them money and then they do stuff that fits with their ideology. So you hear the term Republican super PAC, you're probably thinking, ghouls and goblins, and kind of, but they're sort of like New Hampshire Republicans, like they're moderate. So their entire existence since they started has been dedicated to destroying Donald Trump. So that's interesting, right? I mean, they started in 2019. They called themselves the Lincoln Project because, he was technically a Republican before the ideological shift, where Republicans and Democrats essentially shifted what positions they were on most issues. So, okay, so that's who they are. So I guess, it's not, it's it's a Republican political action committee that I largely agree with because their main issue is confronting a president who I find to be very, 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 very bad for our country. Okay, I missed one very. So, all right. But who is it for? And that's one of the tricky things about Lincoln Project. You've seen their videos before. Even if you've never heard of them, you've seen their videos because they're constantly putting out content. They are a high effort channel as well. They're constantly putting out content. They're constantly trying to find ways to get under Trump's skin, to get under his followers' skin, to try to further that division between Republicans and Trump, to make sure that people know that you know, we're not all Trump, okay? And to make sure that they can perhaps get their party back because the party's just been taken just wholesale, just gone, 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 gone. So you've seen their stuff because their audience is me. Their audience is like well-meaning liberals who, no matter how useless it is, they cannot stop themselves from consuming content that is essentially pointing their finger and laughing at the stupidity of the people who are oppressing people who have less power than I do, right? That's to be uncharitable to the typical Lincoln Project video share. That's what it is. So when I saw this video came out, I was like, what's going to be the reaction? Is this just going to be just another thing, or is this going to be a real moment? Because it uses the song Not Like Us. So I'm not going to play it for you, but it just uses the exact same song. And they cut it down to a couple minutes, but it's the exact same song, exact same beat. They use, I believe, an AI Kendrick Lamar. This is not an AI video. Sorry about that. And most people, um, Most people in the world think they want to talk about AI, and then the second that you start talking about it, they immediately regret their decision. Like Ron Burgundy jumping into a bear a bear enclosure. They immediately regret asking you to talk about AI. I don't like AI. I don't like what it does to artists. I do like AI. I like how it can facilitate certain things. So no, I'm not going to talk about AI except to say that it makes the whole thing a lot more icky, a lot more tricky, a lot more sandwich wiki. It's a Saturday morning goof up, everybody. I'm not really sure. Like, it adds a whole extra because they could have just got somebody to sound like Kendrick. They could have found somebody to do a Kendrick-like voice or just try to stay away from it. But instead, they do this. And then there's the imagery, which is all puppets. It's all puppet style AI imagery, which makes it cute, which makes it fun, which makes it more shareable. But it's also AI generated. So I'm not a fan of the environmental impact of generative AI, and especially, Lincoln Project's got a lot of money. They could hire artists, they could hire people to do this. Now, it'd make it way more expensive, but it would also make it way better and make it less confusing. So now that we got the AI stuff out of the way, let's go through the song. Let's go through what they say, how they say it. What do we think about this? All right, I'm going to share the screen here. Let's go all the way back. I'm going to go full screen on my end. All right. So it starts off with the Tommy the Clown beginning. All right. I see mad people. Right off the bat, Trump's not like us is indicating its goal is to enrage people who support Trump and Trump himself. They specifically target Trump. They know Trump is going to see all their stuff, so they're trying to do it. So instead of I see dead people, I see mad people. Or it can also be people who are mad that the Epstein files have not come out. All right. Now, immediately, we have the funniest part of the entire video. All right. Taking the imagery of Drake's embassy and applying it to the White House, having the child, having the warning of sex predators in your neighborhood that's on a map, applying that to the White House, that's just perfect. Just right there, even just right there, they've done an amazing job of drawing this parallel. So I'm having a little trouble with my computer here. No, I don't want to annotate. I'm not going to annotate this. All right. Oh, I could just do that. So ketchup on the wall, yo. That's one of these intentional, very specific, I think, trying to just piss off Trump himself. It's funny, mustard on the beat, ketchup on the wall. Such AI ketchup. Ugh, gross. But the image is clear, saying that he's desecrating Lincoln while also tying into the name of their project, the Lincoln Project. Okay. Now, so I don't listen. I don't know how comfortable are we with like a Kendrick Lamar AI puppet. I don't think he gave permission for this. I don't think he legally has to give permission for it. But it is kind of questionable. And with the hair pick in there, I don't it I don't know. It makes me uncomfortable, but also like it's is it just like Weird Al, right? I mean, should we think of it like Weird Al? Like it's a fun little goof on a Saturday morning goof up? All right, so now they're getting very specific and talking about the way that the Trump administration said that there were files and then said that there were not. I don't like how the eyeballs move on these AI puppets because that's what destroys the illusion that they're Muppets. But then they had little details like Pam down. Like that's funny. Pam down in the shredder room as opposed to man down. Like I don't think the lyrics were written by AI. I think that they really thought about how to make this the best possible marriage of the song of the decade and this political message. Again, they're really going for him. They want to piss him off, try and make fun of his golf course because, like, I don't, I've never, I went on one golf course. It was a public golf course in rural Maryland. It was awesome. There was no clubhouse, there was no fees, there was no dress code. It was like a hillbilly golf course. It was awesome. All the clubs were like busted. It was great. It was a great time. I think it cost $10 to play around. It was really sweet. So I don't really know about golf courses, but I know that that's what they're trying to do. So it's weird because the not like us, obviously not like us is the not the they and the us is very dynamic. But this feels like this is somebody who trying to get to somebody who feels bad about their golf courses. That's a lot of weirdly specific, super privileged insults. All right, a little bit weaker rhyme there. I like how they show the podcasters getting mad because that is the moment that we have these hats on fire. What they're going for is iconic imagery. Well, one could say that the song itself lends itself to this kind of iconic imagery, but it's fairly well done. Now here we have this first image of the Trump puppet with the Jeffrey Epstein puppet, the model that's going to change quite a bit throughout this video because AI modeling is never consistent enough to not drive you crazy and make you think, what am I watching? If you don't know, back in what 2002, Trump is famous for saying that his friend Jeffrey Epstein really likes women and really likes them young. So he knew, right? He knew. So that's of all the things that you could say, like he knew and he did not try to stop and he continued to be friends when he knew that he was friends with a sex predator. I don't know about you, but if I knew somebody who flew underage girls to an island and sexually abuse them. That's, as the specials would say, time for my friendship to end. So that's right here. This is very clear. So, uh, that's the cover your ass if God's watching, the files that you took, making fun of him in the bathroom here. Come on, Donnie boy, let's take a look. Can we take a peek? And that little black book can't cover up a cover up. It really makes me think. Redact all you want. You running out of ink, going into the cover up and the conspiracy of it. Pretty far away from not like us. We're just off in this kind of anti-Trump zone. Now, this is what's funny, or not funny, but interesting. Is he saying, "Say Trump, I hear you like I'm young." So this is the first time in the song, and this is what I think, as a music commentator, makes this the most interesting thing here. Is one second. Is that this is him actually making a clear connection between Drake and Trump. That if last year you were mad at Drake for being inappropriate with underage girls, you should be just as mad at Trump. It's a fascinating parallel that they're drawing and that they're going to actually develop even further. Better pray that your prison cell has a tanning bed. Strong joke. Strong joke. Sorry, I keep hitting the chairs under my table. At least the sun's getting away from my face. And now we're going to get to my favorite part just because it is the simplest and kind of the dumbest. Here we go. You know the best words, everything the best people, spill the tea on your besties from the Lolita Express. Not the, okay, actually, no, I'm sorry. The best part's coming up in a second. You're not the only one on the Freak Off Express with frequent freak off miles. Here's where, of course, they're going to go after Clinton because they are still a Republican political action committee. So they have to go after Clinton as well as Bill Gates as a frequent Democratic donor. And also, Clinton should probably be in jail. I'm not sure exactly why all the time, but probably should. I'm no fan of his, despite my political leanings. But still, showing that they're fair and they're showing off and they're trying to draw a link between Trump and Clinton. There we go. That's my favorite bit. Certified cover up, certified Epstein files. So, like mixing those things together, certified PDF, certified Epstein files with this weird image of what is probably supposed to be underage Muppet sex trafficked underage Muppets feeding the current president of the United States French fries. These are sentences that we can come up with now in 2025 because this is the world that we chose, everybody. And this is the failure of AI to really adequately display this. But there we go. Wop, 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 wop. Trump really sucks. And then he says he's going to do his stuff. But just very funny, very quick and effective. I bet Trump is in the files in bed with a minor. So we're almost over. We're almost over, but we haven't gotten to the most interesting part. Not yet. Not yet. Nope, not the clown. Okay. Now, this Trump not like us bit, I find this interesting because I imagine they had to figure out how are we going to show this crowd because the crowd in the show was all people in Compton and it was I don't know. I figure they must have taken a lot of time trying to figure out how many puppets should be explicitly white, should be explicitly black, and then just make some of them blue. I don't know. Red. There is obviously, depending on how you read Trump like us, I mean, how you read not like us, a very heavy racial component, in which the us applies to black Americans and that they can apply to many things. So that's part of the problem of this parody is it's like you can't just like take this spiritual song for and by a specific people and then just use it and then pretend that you're the us, right? And this frame right here really delves into that with this guy kind of right in the center. All right. Okay, so this is why I wanted to do the whole video. This image right here. Look who entered the frame. All of a sudden now, we have Drake. Drake, who was the subject of the original song, is now in this parody next to Trump and next to Epstein. So this is so this is why I think this needs to be studied. This is why I really want to do this video because like this needs to be documented. This needs to be talked about. Drake has not been convicted of anything. On a personal level, I don't know. I'm not like certain that he's done terrible things, or illegal things. I'm certain he's done terrible things. I'm not certain he's done illegal things. But the point is that was part of the beef that got the most press, right? That got the most attention, even though the beef itself was about largely about the spirit of hip hop and then the need to reassert Black American dominance into hip hop. It was also about this stuff. But the Drake puppet just being thrown in there with Trump and with Epstein is like the biggest possible diss on Drake you can imagine. I mean, I don't know if he's going to sue the Lincoln Project. I don't know. I mean, it's, you can say it's not him necessarily, although we all know it's him. But it's so crazy because it reminds us of the Hard Part Six, where he said that the Epstein shit is what I knew you were going to bring up, whatever the lyrics are to that. What does he say? Sorry, I wrote this down. Sorry, I don't listen to the Hard Part Six. I just cash checks off it. Um, before all you Drake fans say, so you need Drake to make money. Drake helps to make money, but I do this with and without Drake. Speaking of anything with a child, let's get to that now. Drake, why did you phrase it like that? That Epstein angle was the shit I expected. And again, he said Weinstein, not Epstein in the song, so okay. Just for clarity, I feel disgusted. I'm too respected. If I was effing young girls, I promise I'd have been arrested. I'm way too famous for that shit you just suggested. I'm way too famous for that shit you just suggested. I'm way too famous for that shit you just suggested. What is this image of? This is an image of people who are way too famous for the shit that was just suggested. It's really drawing the parallel, and I can't tell if it's being done to drag Drake down to the level of Epstein, to drag Trump down to the level of Epstein, or to equalize Drake and Trump and then bring them both down to Epstein. Read My Soul released a video, or is releasing a video. It's on members only, and I'm a member of his channel, about the trumpeting of Drake. Justin Hunt's been on this a lot in his videos. I've been talking about it a lot, about the MAGA shift of Drake, and this and this is really making it explicit. This is giving us an image that we can use for the Drake, the trumpeting of Drake, the MAGAification of Drake, and it's right here in this questionable parody of the song. And they're dancing around, all of them dancing around. I, I don't, this I'm uncomfortable with having I mean, what is the meaning of this, of the burger place? I mean, I know the meaning of the burger place in the original video, you know, it's a famous spot in Compton, but like doing the puppet version of it, this doesn't, I don't know. This feels culturally inappropriate to quote Clips. And they're still dancing, and they're all behind bars, and we all lived happily ever after. And there's the Lincoln Project. So I don't know. Like I said, it's a low effort video. I thought it was important to talk about. I thought it was important to kind of log it in the history of this beef, in the history of the way that Drake and Kendrick are talked about. The idea, like, I can't tell. So you tell me in the comments, is this awesome or an abomination? I'm probably going to go with an abomination because I'm uncomfortable with white Republicans using AI to steal black art to their own purposes, which is fundamentally what it is. Now, the purpose that it is one that I agree with. I think it would be good if instead of a Trump Republican Party, we had a norm a normal Republican Party. You know, like just normal evil, not chaotic evil. But like I I don't know. So you tell me in the comments, was this even worth making? I might delete this whole damn video. So, and not because I said something I'm afraid of, but it just might be too goofy, you know? Too much of a Saturday morning goof off. All right. Well, I appreciate you for watching. Where's the camera? It's there.